Can you share with us some tips on how to avoid getting too involved when you work with other people's suffering? I work as a children's psychotherapist and I see a lot of painful situations. I noticed that especially in the last year, things got emotionally heavier for all of us, and I need to figure out how to manage this better. So this is a great question, and a question that I get a lot in different variations. So it's not just when people work with others, as this psychotherapist was talking about, or as I work with as a life coach or a healer. It's not just when you work with other people suffering, but this question actually applies to anyone really, because the more that we are ascending, the more that we're evolving with all of these enormous changes that have been occurring on the planet since the start of COVID. All of these enormous changes, they're bringing a lot of wounds to the surface. People are awakening, but a lot of people are suffering also. And so regardless of if you work with someone or not, if you work with people or not, you're still being exposed to the suffering of others. And so this is a great question for all of us, really. From my experience, something really interesting happened as the years progressed and I kept working with more and more people. There was a huge shift inside of me. So initially when I worked with people, I had all of these procedures and practices in place. When I coached someone, after the coaching session, I'd clear, I'd cleanse my energy, I'd whatever, I'd move around, I'd burn some sage, whatever it was. I had certain practices in order to clear and release the other person's energy. This is particularly important for people who are sensitives and empaths, like myself. I'm on the extreme end of the empath scale. I'm what's known as a physical empath. So I'm so extremely empathic that I actually somaticize on my body what other people are going through. So that was very frightening to live this way for a really long time. And so the more sensitive you are, the more you have to learn how to release other people's energy after you finish dancing with them, whatever that dance is, whether it's you being in a psychotherapy session like this person that submitted this question, whether you're a life coach or a healer like me, whether you're going out to coffee and, your friend has just had a horrible breakup and she's really, really distraught and you're just sitting there with her, you're dancing with her energy. So in whatever way you dance with the other person's energy, you have to learn how to release that energy. It's not even clearing it. I don't even like to use that word because when we say clear, it almost feels like there's something bad about that energy, and it's not necessarily so. Like, people that are suffering, they don't have bad energy. They're just in a lot of pain. And so we have to learn how to release, okay? So I like the word release more. But what happened with me is as my coaching experience progressed, as my healing abilities progressed, I noticed something funny happen to me. I actually, nowadays, I connect with people and I release so quickly that I don't need to have any elaborate practices anymore. I really don't. I used to do all these different things in order to release everybody's energy so that my energy was clear. And then as the years progressed, I stopped doing those things. And it took me a while to understand what was going on. But really what was happening, and this is something that I love to talk about because it's about the heart. It's about my favorite chakra in the body, which is the heart. The more that you develop and the more that you open your heart, the more you learn how to be in these states of compassion, of empathy, of kindness, and the more you connect with people. The heart is the great connector. The more you connect with people with an empowered heart, it means that the heart can connect and then the heart can release. The heart connects and the heart releases. A really powerful, developed, open, empowered heart has no problem releasing other people's things, okay? So other people's pain or other people's suffering. And that's something that really developed over the years for me. And so now it's so quick. It is so quick. I do not allow myself to be stuck in any energy or to be stuck with other people's pain or with other people's suffering. When I'm with that person, I'm with that person. So I have no problem immersing myself with that person when I'm trying to help them. So if this is happening to you on a coaching or a psychotherapy level, whether you work with people or whether you're just helping your friends, it doesn't really matter. When you connect with that person and you're giving them your support and your help, connect with them, really connect with them. And this is something that so many of us don't do, especially if we're empaths. When we're empaths, a lot of times we're guarded even against the people that we really love. So if we have a best friend and they're going through something horrible, we go out to coffee with them and we're trying to support them and we're trying to pat them on the back and we're trying to be as supportive as possible, but we're still guarding ourselves because we know that we're so sensitive and we don't want to take on the other person's pain because it feels uncomfortable to us. Well, when you have an empowered heart, you have no problem connecting with that person in their pain, in their sorrow, and in their joy, and in their ecstasy. The heart is, there's just this, Buddhists use the word equanimity, and I love that equanimity. I love that word. And what that means is that the heart treats everything with equal measure. So your heart can tap into sorrow as it taps into joy, as it taps into ecstasy, as it taps into pain. It has no problem with any of that. So when you stop guarding and you connect with the person, whoever you're helping, you connect with that person, you connect with them fully. Because when you're doing that, you're helping that person heal and you're moving more energy. The more open your heart is, you're not only taking on that person's energy, or you're not only, taking on isn't the right word, actually, connecting with that person energetically, but you're also connecting with your soul, you're also connecting with your source. So that means that source is streaming through constant light and love that you could then bring into the mix. So when you connect fully with someone, you're really helping them heal. You're helping them heal so in ways that you don't know how to explain, you can't possibly explain. But then when you're finished with the interaction, then you're going to release the energy. And it's hard for me to explain how to release the energy because this is a very experiential thing. You have to do this yourself and practice this yourself, and you will feel it. But the point here that I'm focusing on is I'm focusing on the heart. Allow yourself to open, because when I open, sure, it means I'm going to connect to other people's pain more often, no question whatsoever. But it also means that if I'm open, I'm going to be able to release their pain. Because one thing that people miss a lot when it has to do with being sensitive and feeling other people's pain and feeling other people's sensitivities and sorrows, they think that if they shut down, they're more protected against that person's energy. That is not true. That's not true. Look at it this way. If I shut down, I'm still receiving some of that person's energy. And guess what? The worst part is I can't release it because I'm shut down. So it's really counterintuitive to shut down because you're not helping yourself. When you open up, sure, I can feel that person's pain, but I'm not going to die. Nobody dies of connecting with another person's sorrow. That's just part of being human. And I'm connecting with that person's sorrow, and maybe tomorrow someone else helps me with my sorrow. So we're just helping each other out, really. Ram Dass had a wonderful, wonderful quote. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Ram Dass, he had this quote and he said, we're all just walking each other home. I love that quote so much. We are all just walking each other home. So one day you may hold space for someone else's pain, and the next day someone may hold space for your pain. But the point is to remain open at the heart, connect with that person. So in this case, as the psychotherapist, connect with the children that you're working with. And then when the session finishes, release. Keep your heart open and just release. And you can even use a little prayer, a little mantra. And this is for this psychotherapist or for anyone really that's connecting with other people's suffering and other people's pain. When you can remain open, if you want to add a little prayer to help in keeping yourself open, you can say something like, when you finish the interaction and you've connected with that person's pain and you've been able to help them, or you had a conversation with them and then you part ways and you each go your way, you can just keep your chest nice and open, breathe very deeply, and just say a mantra in your mind and just say, I release this now. That's all. I release this now. May that soul go on their beautiful path. I love them so much, but I release this now. See, something as simple as that. And that's literally all I do now when I work with people. That's all I do. Nice deep breath. I stay open. Okay, I'm finished. I release this now. And that's it. It goes. It's really not complicated, but it's not complicated and it's not hard once you have opened that heart and you made a decision that no matter what you feel in this world, no matter what's happening in this world, you will not shut down your heart. That's the key to this. You will not shut down your heart. The more open you are, the more you can release things when you're finished. Okay, so I hope this helps, but this takes a little bit of practice. I know this takes a little bit of practice. It took me years to be able to practice that, going from a guarded position where I was constantly setting boundaries between myself and my clients because I was afraid of taking on their energy. I went from that, and then I slowly started to develop where I'm not really afraid of connecting with anyone, no matter what their pain is. I can hold space for them, and I stay open, and then when I'm finished holding space for them, I lovingly release their energy, and I leave it up to Source to continue to love them, empower them on their journey.